we're going to go ahead and just do a nasolabial fold procedure and a little bit around the corners of the mouth. You can see she's lost a little volume in her nasolabial folds, just a little touch of a downturned corner of the mouth. So we're going to go ahead and do this procedure pretty much in real time. And what we're going to do is, she is not numb. We're going to use some Juvederm Ultra XC with lidocaine in it. And this is just so you get a feel for this procedure here. So I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to turn you this way just a little bit here, Rachel. And a lot of you will recognize Rachel as our AAFE membership director, so I'm going to be very nice to her. And we're going to go ahead and just add some volume. I don't want to get rid of this nasolabial fold because, you know, that would blow everything up and, you know, people look like a blowfish. But you want to just lessen this, fill this up where she's lost some volume, and that will give her a nice appearance here. And then we're going to do this at the same time. Then we'll go over to the other side. And you can see that, you know, if you've seen her video on taking care of her lips, she has these beautiful lips that has had some filler in them, and they've maintained very nicely. But right now we're going to go ahead and just concentrate in this area right here. Now where we want to end up is in mid-dermis, but you know, I want to end up here, but it's this entire fold that we want to take care of. So we're going to start here. We're going to go up, and we'll show you how to determine mid-dermis. And you're going to feel a little pinch here, Rachel, just to start. I'm sorry about that. You're going to tent this up. When you tent this up, that's how you know you're in mid-dermis, because you can see the outline of the needle. Place it back into the tissue. I'm going to give her a little bit of this Juvederm Ultra XC with the lidocaine. Let that get numb a little bit. That'll numb the area so I can do a little bit more work here. And just slowly give her some as I come out. And I'm trying to make this as comfortable as a procedure as possible. And again, you can get them numb with dental anesthesia, and as when you are an initial injector, you should get them numb with dental anesthesia because it takes you a little longer. But once you get good and your technique gets faster, you can pretty much do this just with the anesthesia, and they're with the right patient, and if the patient allows it. And some patients want to get numb. Doesn't make a difference to me either way. I can do either way for them. Here you go. I'm going to start at the next area, and now I'm just going to go ahead and really start to place this a little bit quicker. And each one of these injections, I am just filling to what I see. And when it looks good, then that will be good for all of us here. So it doesn't make a difference how much it takes in here. I'm going to go ahead on this side. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to aim for this part of the edge of her nose here. And then I'm going to come halfway out, turn, go back in, give her some, halfway out, turn, and go back into the lower corner of the nose here. And I want to fan some material in this entire area. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. And Rachel, we know, is a great patient. But every time I just let this sit a little bit, then that will get the area numb because of the lidocaine that's in this Juvederm here. So I'm just going to come out halfway, turn, and then go up this way and just add some material here. So that is what we need to start. Hang on, let me clean this off with some gauze. We're going to just clean this off a little bit. Now we want to get in here, and just with some bilateral manipulation here, we want to go ahead, open again for me, and we're going to go ahead and just smooth this down and make sure that there are no lumps in this material. It's nice and smooth. I don't want to squish this down to where it's not going to fill anything here, but I just want to smooth that down so that we can go ahead and get a very nice smooth appearance and smooth feel to her. Now take a look at her straight on, and you can see, you know, this is filled and this is not filled. Now she doesn't need nearly as much on this side as she needed on this side, but now that is a really nice appearance on her on this side here. So now let's go ahead, and we're not going to add any more there. In a few minutes it'll absorb some more water, and it's already looking really good. It'll look even a little bit better. But now let's go down to this corner of her lip and this slightly downturned oral commissure, and here I'm going to do something a little bit different. And instead of injecting like this, where she's lost just the tiniest bit of volume here, I'm going to go across. And again, this is a technique that the AAFE uses routinely in teaching lifting up oral commissures. I'm going to fill this by going across this, because this will add a plank of material here that will go ahead and give this a little bit more support. If I went in like this to give her some support there, it would look okay, but tends to bulk up a little bit and not be as natural of a look. if I go ahead and just separate this so I can see the end of her lips there, I'm going to go across this break, and here's what I mean by the break. I'm going to go across this break right here, add some filler there, and that's really going to support this area a lot more nicely than if I just bulk filled it underneath. So you're going to feel a little pinch there, Rachel. I'm sorry. That's a little pinchy there. And again, I'm in mid-dermis there. Lay it back in the tissue and just give her a single thread, and that will get the whole area nice and numb. And I'm just gonna, that's one thread of material there. I'm just gonna go right next to it and add another thread of material right there. And the lidocaine works fairly quickly here, but you want to give it a little bit of a chance to work, and then this can be a little bit more of a comfortable situation for patients there. Let me take care of that bleeding right there. And patients will bleed. You are giving them, you know, a number of injections here, so you can expect that that's going to bleed a little bit. Open again for me. And I'm going to go ahead, and I can feel the material in here, and I'm going to go ahead and just massage that around, and that will start to go ahead and absorb some water there, and that will do a nice job in terms of eliminating that little break there and just keeping this lip going straight across there. So that looks just fine right now. I can always go back and give more if I needed to, but I want to let this material do its job. But this looks great. This looks great. Now we're going to go over to the other side. Now on this side, we're just going to do all this in real time here. And this won't take nearly as much filler material as this took over here because it's a different side. So just because I put in, you know, 0.4 or 5 ml of filler on this side does not mean that I'm going to need the exact same thing on this side. This is going to need a lot less just because naturally she's lost less volume here. So down here, I don't even have to start all the way down here where I started on the other one. This is the area right here that needs some fill. So I'm just going to slip right underneath the tissue here, and this I'll really do in real time. Sorry about that, Rachel. You're going to feel a little bit of material. Going to give it a little squeeze of material, let that lidocaine kick in, and I'm not squeezing it right now. I'm just going to give that a few seconds to let that kick in. And again, if your patient wants, you can always get them numb. Now I'm going to add a little bit more material there. And that just with a maybe a 0.1, but barely even a 0.1 ml of material, that's filled up that slight little fold right there. You're going to feel one more pinch right here. And here I am going to add a little material and fan this just a little bit. So this does not take very long once you get the hang of this and know what you're doing here. I'm just going to add that. Now that fills up very nicely. And that's all she needs. You know, on this side, she needed probably 0.45 ml of material. Over here, I barely used 0.2 ml of material. So it really does make a difference. It's when you look at her, how does she look when you're all done? Here on the oral commissure, she's also got a very, very slight loss of volume, and we're going to pick this up. And again, we're going to go, I'm going to turn it this way just a little bit so they can see this a little bit better here. And we're going to go across this oral commissure just like this. So we're going to go right across it. You're going to feel a little pinch. By the way, even with dental anesthesia, this is typically the area that does not get numb very well anyway. I'm going to give you a little bit of material, and by the time I'm done, it'll be numb. But that looks really nice. I've got a little more in here. I just want to add a little bit more with one more thread right next to it here. And this is definitely a little bit more artistry than it is with Botox, because you're really filling, and you can see this happen right in front of your eyes here. But that came out very nicely here. Open for me a little bit. Bilateral manipulation. Again, I just want to make sure it's not going to be lumpy. Although the patient will feel this implant, and yes, it is an implant, patient will feel this implant initially. They get used to it very, very quickly here, and after a couple of days, they don't feel anything at all, but they will love the end result and the look here. So Rachel did great, and you'll be numb maybe for another hour. You'll barely feel it, but now you can see these are all commissures on both sides, and you know, because these are a few injections, and she's bleeding a little bit, she's a little beat up here, but now you can see these oral commissures on both sides now have been lifted up a little bit, volume filled here, nasolabial folds now look beautiful, and if it was possible to make her even more beautiful, then we just accomplished it.